you to sit there with your hands folded in your lap. Sit on your hands.
Don't go. Don't go. Don't go. Don't go. Drop Don't go.
All right, everybody. Happy Friday. Yes, we are a little tardy today, but that is because of scheduling conflicts. And we just roll with the punches like that. So, but we're live now, and we will be on YouTube later. You are tuned into This Pink Cloud, and it is Season 2, Episode 40. Wow. Listen to that. Listen to the applause, 40. Dude. I can hear people cheering out there. But anyway, we're kind of I had this this epiphany in the shower today. I was like, we're kind of like the Wayne's World of recovery. Yeah. So I'm like, yeah, I'm okay with that. But I am DJ Kelly Reverb sitting next to me with no headphones today, so he doesn't really count because he doesn't have headphones.
Yeah, I can't hear anything that's going on.
But this is Dylan Kingston, and he is with Skate Straight and E-Dub Skate Co. Who else do you rep?
I mean, Red F Skateboards. Yeah, I'm here as an advocate for recovery. So let's do this.
Awesome. Yeah, I like that. Hey, and then sitting across from me, I heard about this organization. I mean, I studied to become an RSPS, and people were naming resources, and somebody said, "Oh yeah, blah blah blah, the Men of Nehemiah," and I'm like, I had a flashback to like the. What is that, Men on Film in Living Color? And I was like, oh my goodness, the Men of Nehemiah coming.
Yeah.
And then I was like, well, no, maybe it's the Men of Nehemiah. And it's like a death metal band. Yeah. But y'all, I mean, obviously it's not. It's a pathway to recovery. And we'll get into that and talk all about it and, hopefully shed some light on it. But, with me in the studio are two Men of Nehemiah.
What's up? How y'all doing?
This is Rand Carlson, and this is Ty Choice.
What's happening, y'all? How y'all doing?
And Rand, congrats on the, I got to put this out there, on the engagement, dude.
Thank you.
Yeah, she has actually been on the show, so you want to give a shout out to your lovely wife.
Hey, Megan, how you doing?
Hey, girl. Hey, but basically what we do is we just kind of figure out like a little bit of your backstory, share what you want to share. And then, we'll get to the part, the good part where y'all meet up with the Men of Nehemiah and save lives and do the Lord's work, But hey, Rand, why don't you start us off and just, are you timing yourself?
No, my phone's blowing up, so.
That was probably a text from Megan.
No,
I love you, baby.
Yeah. So my name's Rand. I went to high school in Cattle Mills.
Okay.
Grew up in
Where's Cattle Mills?
Cattle Mills is East Texas, east of Rockwall,
Exactly.
small little town.
Okay.
Grew up in a good family. I didn't know my real dad, but I had a stepdad that raised me as his own, man. He was always there, very supportive, good family. We moved around a lot, so I lived overseas. I lived in Amsterdam. I lived in Mexico City, Virginia, kind of moved around a lot. And then when, I kind of got into my teenage years, my parents got divorced. Mm-hmm. And so that kind of gave me an out to kind of start rebelling. Mm-hmm. Yeah. My parents were kind of split up, and so that kind of that family unit was broken up, and so I started smoking weed. Started going to parties.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't think that that's a big deal, which, some people can navigate it successfully. Yeah. But, we had Quincy Carter. I can name drop now. We had Quincy Carter, former Dallas Cowboys quarterback, on last week, and he was talking about how simple it was, like how it just started with weed, and it truly was a gateway drug.
Right. Yeah, so I came from like this real sheltered childhood, you know. Had to get good grades. We ate at the table together. Oh. And so, when that wasn't there anymore, it was all of a sudden, well, now I can go do what all my friends are doing, And so started partying, started smoking weed. drinking a lot, and then I ended up dropping out of high school. Dropped out, got my GED. Then I moved to Seattle. I was like, I'm out of Texas.
Oh, love
Went
Seattle.
to Seattle.
Seattle's great, man. I
Yeah.
love Seattle.
Well, that's when I really started going hard.
Sure, sure.
You know, I was.
I actually invented a game when I was there last time. I was there like 2 months ago DJing, and I invented a game called Homeless or Healthy. Because it's like, is that guy homeless or is he healthy? I'm like, you never
no,
can
pretty
tell.
crazy.
But I love
Yeah.
Seattle.
They're-
Anyway.
Yeah, so Seattle was. That's when I started to really get into trouble. You know, I didn't have any family up there. I was just kind of. I moved up there with a friend that I knew from Texas. He moved up there. Just went up there, hung out with him. I was supposed to just stay the summer, but I ended up just staying. And man, so weed and alcohol started turning into cocaine and ecstasy. You know, and stayed up there for about 8 years, man. And that's when I started kind of getting into trouble with the law, going to jail. In and out of jail for, you know, little things like possession charges and stuff like that. Nothing major.
Right.
But yeah, I kind of was just like living this like fake life, you know. I was trying to be something that I wasn't.
Right.
You know, I started selling drugs. You know, I wanted
Good
to be,
move.
I wanted
Always
to be
a good move.
a drug dealer.
Right.
You know?
I love that. But it's funny because like you know, a lot of the videos and content out there kind of glorify that. You know,
Right.
like
Right.
fucking big stacks and
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
all that kind of stuff.
I wanted to be
so.
one of those guys,
Yeah.
you know. And the problem was I was smoking up all my products. So,
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
You know, but I stayed out there for a while. I met a girl, moved in with her. We had a kid, and so then, you know, I told myself it's time to kind of straighten up. You know, moved back to Texas, started
Okay.
working down here. I was working, you know, kitchen jobs, working as a cook and stuff. Brought my family down here. But I just couldn't stop. You know, I couldn't stop using. I didn't think I was an addict at that time. You know, I thought I was just doing what everybody else was doing.
Yeah, and that's the funny thing about addiction is that not many of us actually realize how bad it is. Yeah.
Well, and I don't know. I always had this thought when I was in active use. Well, everybody gets high. Everybody, and then when I got out of active use, I realized, oh, maybe they don't.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
Not everybody drinks all day long and smokes.
Well, everybody I knew
Yeah, true.
did.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know? And, you know, working in kitchens, not all kitchens, but the kitchens I was working in, you know, it was just normal. You'd work your shift, you do some lines, and, you know, you go in the walk-in cooler and drink some beers, and, you know, it's kind of that lifestyle. So I'd come home to my newborn child and, you know, my kid's mom, and I'd just be trash.
Yeah, I was
you
like,
know?
Dad's faded.
I thought you were at work. Well, I was at work.
And I just became real distant. You know, I became real distant. You know, when I wasn't working, I just wanted to drink. I just wanted to get high.
Yeah.
And so, you know, she had enough of that. She left. And then that's when I started messing with pills. And, you know, that was progressive, and eventually I found myself doing heroin.
Yep.
You know, so what started as weed, you know, kind of over time, just boom, 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 boom. Now
You got to keep on upping that game, man.
Yeah.
now people are looking for me at work,
Yeah.
and I'm in the bathroom for a couple hours, you know,
Dude,
just
right.
trying to get right.
Just nod it out. Yeah.
just out there, you
Yeah.
know. And so the jobs, you know, I used to be able to maintain a job and get high.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know? When heroin came into my life, that was the end of that.
Quickly becomes
Just
the
quickly. It
opposite,
was
yeah.
quick, you know. And so, you know, my family convinced me that I needed to get some help. So reluctantly, I went to the Men of Nehemiah the first time.
Right. Well, I love how you say reluctantly, because
Yeah.
it's the same thing for me. It's either forced sobriety or reluctantly. I've never heard anybody go, "Yes, I want to go to rehab." Dude, you know.
Yeah.
But Dylan can relate with you for sure, because he's an H Train fan.
Yeah.
So, and opioid totally. So
Yeah.
Been there,
So
done
he gets
that,
it.
all that.
Right.
Yeah.
So I get to the Men of Nehemiah, and I show up, and it's a culture shock. You know, it's
Oh, yeah.
and we'll get into what we do there. But,
Yeah.
I got there, and you know, I wasn't I didn't believe in God. You know, I didn't believe in any kind of higher power or anything like that. So I get to a place like the Men of Nehemiah, which is faith-based rehabilitation, and I'm like, this is a cult. You know, like where am I at right now? And so I started negotiating with myself. I started looking at everybody else, right, and being like, man, I'm not that kind of addict. You know, I'm not like these people.
Sure.
So I convinced myself to leave. I was there about 3 days.
Okay.
Left the program, and within 2 weeks, you know, before I left the program, I said, you know, this was a, you know, reality check. You know, I'm not going to use no more. This is what I needed. This is a reality check.
Right. This 3 days,
This is
man.
it.
That's
and
enough.
I'm
You know,
good.
that's all I need.
I checked in.
Yeah.
Right.
And so, you know, that night I was getting high again.
Sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So,
I'm surprised it took
Imagine
that long.
that.
yeah. I mean, I was out there again. And, you know, it was within 2 weeks I got caught with a decent amount of heroin and meth,
Okay.
traveling through Rockwall, you know,
Okay.
just trying to,
I hear Rockwall's pretty hardcore
Oh,
too
yeah.
out
Yeah,
there,
they don't
dude.
play.
They want to,
They drove the book at you.
Yeah,
They've sent me
they
to
want to
prison twice.
They want to incarcerate you for a long
Oh,
time.
they wanted
yeah.
to do that for sure. And
Yeah.
so, you know, I was middlemaning. You know, I was trying to get a little off the top just so I could get high.
Right.
And I ended up getting busted with it. And so they, you know, I sat in Rockwall County Jail for a long time, you
Gotta
know,
love that.
trying to fight it. And eventually they gave me 6 years deferred probation. And I was like, that's my ticket, right?
Right.
I'm out. And got out. Kept on doing what I was doing. And
Yeah.
then this time I got busted, you know, a couple weeks later, I got busted in Dallas for the same thing. And this time they weren't playing with me. So they sent me to TDC. I was there for a
We
couple
have heard
years.
you have been to TDC,
Yeah, I've been there,
correct?
done all
It's a
that.
fine establishment.
Oh, it's very nice.
great.
Good food, good quality.
Right.
Yeah. So, you know, I went to prison for a couple years for possession. Got out. You know, when I was in prison, towards the end, when parole was kind of like an option, I remember calling my family and just convincing them, because I had convinced myself, you know, like, I'm done. You know,
Yeah.
like, I'm done. I'm going to get out and I'm going to do the right thing. You know what I mean? Like, that's it.
That was your second rock bottom.
That was it. Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Before my third.
Well, when you're in a,
Before your third
when you're in
rock
a
bottom.
when you're in a place like that, it's very easy to convince yourself that
Sure.
like I'll know
Yeah.
you know that place.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's bad.
And prison was a lonely place. You know,
Yeah.
it was like, for me, it wasn't like you see on the TV. You know, like what you see, and people in my family don't go to prison, so it was,
Same.
you know, it was definitely.
I feel like I know what goes on. I watch Beyond Scared Straight, so I feel like I know what's up. Not really.
Well, it's like you saying, it's lonely. Like you can't. I mean, no one in there is their real self. You know what I'm saying? Like you have to understand that going into it, is that none of those people are your friends or anything like that. So like you're very like
They're trying to get your card, dude,
Yeah,
your
dude.
commissary card,
Yeah,
right?
and you know, I'm an introvert anyway, so being in a room with 60 people 24/7, no matter
Tough.
what, like that was hard. So you know, I convinced my family, like, parole's coming up, you know, I'm gonna do right. Got out. As soon as I got out, you know, I paroled to my mom's house. I did the right thing. You know, I was doing good with parole. I got the job. You know, I got an overnight job at a warehouse. Got me a car, saved up my money, got me a car. And then it was like I forgot. You know, I forgot that I was an addict. I wasn't working any program. I wasn't doing any. That wasn't even in my mind. You know, I thought I could do it myself. You know, I could control this thing. And, you know, I ended up getting on Facebook and just reaching out. Just one day randomly on lunch break, I just reached out to my old plug, you know.
Yeah.
And I remember the
Would
war.
you like to shout out to your old? No, I'm
Hey,
saying,
but-
right?
I remember the conflict inside of me, like when I was sending that message, you know, like I knew I shouldn't have reached out to him. And it was like I was going back and forth, you know, and I finally did. And there I was again. Now I'm same scenario, back at work, in the car, shooting up, getting high.
I like and I like how you put that. But I mean, I always like to point out the obvious right there. Hey, you're not working any kind of program.
That's it.
You're not putting anything into your sobriety.
That's it.
So how do you expect to nurture that and
Right.
stay sober? I mean, yeah, there are people that can go out there and, you know, okay, shut it down. But I'm gonna look around the room and say these four guys
I'm not
are
that
not
person.
are not those
Yeah.
people.
Well, and people don't understand, like when, like you said, you forget. Like when I tell people that, like I was in prison for X amount of months, years, whatever, and then as soon as I got home, I forgot what prison was like.
Yeah.
They don't understand. They're like, oh my God, that was like the most traumatic thing that happened to you. How do you forget that? And it's like, well, you get out here in the real world and things start happening and you forget. You know?
Well, like I convinced myself that I was normal.
Yeah.
You know, like at this point, I hadn't really been exposed to the 12 steps. I hadn't been exposed to a higher power kind of deal. You know, I had I didn't like the idea of God. You know, I didn't like that at all.
Oh
And
yeah,
I
and
tried
the
to
whole
convince.
dude. A lot of people struggle with admitting they're powerless.
Yeah.
You know that first step. You know.
Yeah. And so I used to try to convince people, you know, there's no God, you know, you're brainwashed, this and that. But,
Right.
You know, here I am, I'm the one sticking needles in my arm.
Yeah.
So, you know, so I'm at work. Well, my mom ends up finding, you know, a syringe in the house, and she calls me while I'm at work. So, you know, I get put out. And so my idea is, you know, I got some money. I'm going to go stay with my plug. You know, I'm going to just go crash on his couch. And the problem with that is the money runs out.
Yeah.
And when the money runs out, you know, they don't let you stay on the couch no more. So ended up wrecking my car, you know, dope sick, wrecking my car. So now I couldn't get to work anymore.
Hey, Dylan, you've done that before.
multiple times.
Right.
Yeah. So wrecked
Thank
my
God
car.
for Narcan, right?
Yeah. And so now I'm wandering the streets in Pleasant Grove looking crazy.
Shout out to Pleasant Grove.
Yeah. I've
The Grove.
favorite
The
place
Grove
in the
was
world. I'm out of my mind. I haven't been asleep. I haven't been asleep for I don't know how long, you know. Spun out, thinking everyone's trying to kill me.
Shadow people.
Yeah, shadow people.
Oh,
I
they were
saw
really
them. They
there.
were real. They were for real. Yeah, they were real. They're
Sure.
out there. Anyway, so I'm walking down the street. I don't even think I had shoes on. Just looking crazy, and I reached out to my uncle, and my uncle picked me up, and he took me back to the Men of Nehemiah.
Back
Oh,
and
that's
forth.
cool.
Day one.
Day one started over. Nice.
Yes.
Hey, real
Yes.
quick, before I know, you know, we're gonna get to Ty's story, but real quick, I've got sponsors for the show. I almost forgot about them. Obviously, we can't. That is summersky.us. That is www.summersky.us. And that is 888-857-8857. Once again, that is 888-857-8857. And they are a place actually out in Stephenville, Texas. It's a rehab center where actually I got sober. And, you know, they support the
All right.
show. And I got like 14 months there, dude. I'm almost to that dangerous 18-month where I think that dangerous 18-month where I think I got it, dude.
Yeah, that's real.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you meet up with the Men of Nehemiah, and I guess is that the time it took?
Well, so I
Or-
get to the Men of Nehemiah, and
Yeah.
I guess that I got that right ass whooping. 'Cause
Yeah.
I've been clean ever since.
Yeah,
So,
that's great.
yeah.
Well, so that's like 3 attempts, right? At
Right.
least, yeah. And then do you mind sharing your clean time or?
Yeah.
I mean,
So December 28, 17,
wow, dude, good for you,
Yeah.
good for you,
Killing
man.
it. Killing it.
Coming up on 4.
coming up on 4.
Killing it. Killing
Well, your partner in crime or in recovery,
it. Yes. Yes.
Mr. Ty Choice over here.
What's
You're
happening,
you're also with the Men of Nehemiah, and
I am.
And I can already tell you said you were from New York, so there's got to be a good story coming up.
Well, yeah, man. Well, yeah. My name's Ty. Grew up in New York City, Queens, Woodhaven, New York. Moved down to Texas in the 7th grade. To my mom, I was joining gangs. My mom was going to try to get me away from the negative environment.
Yeah.
So she moved me to this place called Pleasant Grove.
Shout
Great
out Pleasant
establishment.
Grove.
Shout
Did
out.
she,
Right.
did she do
Yeah,
like a did she do like a coming to America thing?
And-
You know,
and-
like how he did pointed
going
to
to Pleasant,
Queens.
yeah.
So she just goes,
No,
"We're going to
actually, my
Pleasant
grandparents lived here in Texas.
Right.
You know, I thought growing up, I thought that Texas was like standoff and tumbleweeds and
Yeah.
Grove." Right.
cowboy
horses
hats and
and
stuff
I
stuff
did
like that.
not ride a horse to school, I promise.
Right. And so coming here, I was a little upset about it, leaving my friends and
Sure.
my neighborhood. And so I got here. It was pretty cool, you know. I mean, I was like, okay, this is not as country as I thought. You know, Pleasant Grove wasn't as pleasant as I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
And, you know, I learned something even at a young age. And, you know, when I look back at my journey, you know, I learned that you take you with you, right? And so a lot of the behavior, it actually started when I was very, very young. My father got a life sentence. I'm 44 years old. My father got a life sentence when I was 3 years old.
Oh, wow.
Behind drugs. And he didn't have the opportunity. They didn't have a lot of people promoting recovery back then. They just gave guys life sentence. You get caught with some dope, how about 99 years for you?
Yeah.
And being a black man in the South back then with a drug problem, that was the system solution.
Yeah.
It's just long-term incarceration, right?
Right.
So then I began to wonder my identity. My mom is white. My dad's black. Growing up in a all-white home, my identity was always questioned. You know, like, who am I? I'm the black sheep of the family, literally. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so I built resentment towards my father. You know, I knew him from letters.
Yeah.
He would send me little handkerchiefs with Winnie the Pooh drawn on it.
A little
You know how they do in prison.
jailhouse origami or something.
Yeah.
Right.
And I just began to put those in shoe boxes and build this resentment. You know,
Oh, wow.
I don't really want to deal with this cat. You know,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
so as I got older, man, kind of the same story. I started skateboarding. Skateboarding early on kind of helped me I kind of joined a different clique of kids in Dallas, and I think that it gave me a little bit of understanding of it's okay to be different. You know what I mean? But in that, right, it exposed me to a large, diverse circle of friends.
Yeah.
Right? And so started out real quickly, 7th, 8th grade, I started smoking pot. Didn't think anything of it. You know, everyone does it, right?
Yeah.
And then, you know, drinking kind of started happening around that same time. And man, I just got off track. Got off track, and schoolwork started being, I stopped going to school, really. You
Right.
know? But I was somehow able to graduate high school, and then I just decided that I was going to be a professional drug dealer. Man, I was like, this is the,
Nice.
this is
I
like,
like
you know,
it.
like, I mean,
Willie and Sal.
yeah, I'm gonna,
Texas.
I'm really gonna do well. This has got a great retirement plan. You know, there's,
Right.
well, it didn't.
And great benefits,
Yeah, they
great
have
health
401k.
insurance.
They have-
all the girls like him, you know. And
They have ping pong tables at the federal penitentiary. No
Right.
worries. You're golden.
Good time.
so I'm gonna sell drugs, and like my friend, like my brother here shared, man. I was using more than I was selling, and started getting in trouble. Started going to jail early, 18 years old. I'm in and out of jail. From 18 to 20, I probably went to jail 10 times. You know, just for small stuff. But as my disease progressed, right, as the addiction progressed, hanging out with certain cliques, they would say, hey, Ty, we're selling this, we're selling that, you need to stay up late. So I was introduced to, coke and just those kind of uppers, small, light, I'm doing a couple lines here and there. I didn't think I was that bad. But eventually it turned into, now you're doing too much uppers, so you need something to slow down.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
So now
I call that Elvis syndrome.
Right. So
Yeah.
this is the mid 90s. The syrup craze is real high.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody's drinking syrup. And so, we want to be like, I'm
Everybody-
a rap artist.
everybody
so
out there.
so now I didn't know that this is like a liquid heroin. And so
yeah.
I'm drinking
Yeah.
it daily. We're driving down to Houston, coming back, kicking it in Austin, doing all this stuff. I'm in a local hip hop group in Dallas. So I think I'm friends with Erykah Badu, friends with all these people, and I feel like a rock star,
Yeah.
And
You
then,
know Rob Free?
Yeah, I do. Rob Free's my
Rob
homeboy.
Free's great, man.
Yeah,
I love that guy.
Good friend of mine.
Shout out.
So grew up with all those guys and the Deep Ellum scene, and all of a sudden, man, one day the syrup, it was a drought, and I found myself sick. I was like, man, what's wrong with me? I feel sick.
Feel like
So
shit.
my friend was telling me, like, Ty, that's you're withdrawing, and I
By
never.
the way, you're dope sick.
Yeah,
dude.
I didn't like that term. I was like, no, that's crazy. That's not me. So make a long story short, man, ended up being introduced to heroin. And then once I started doing heroin, it was kind of like, for me, all bets were off now. Like any kind of level of like, you don't do that. I was done
There
with
were
that. It's
the
like,
moral,
the
moral
moral
compass just
like,
got put in the drawer.
yeah, like there's no more level, there's no
Yeah.
more bar, like there's no more what I won't do. And so, man, I just dove straight in. I mean, I went from just doing a little bit of doing syrup and a couple of lines to like smoking crack and shooting heroin.
Yeah.
And thus comes the drama. Like, boom, rehab. I've been to Turtle Creek 3 times. I've been to Homeward Bound 5 times. I've been to jail 31 times. I've been to prison 3 times. I've been to state jail twice. And this was a 10-year process of almost death.
Wow.
And I just could not, my family couldn't have me in their home like that. I ended up, I was living like a wild animal. I was sleeping outside abandoned buildings. I was unrecognizable, about 80 pounds, talking to myself, in and out of psychiatric places, Green Oaks, all these different places. And everyone was like, pointing towards addiction. And I was thinking, if I just had my dad, or if I just had, the right job or the right girl or whatever it was, the right outward circumstance, it would change me. And it just didn't work, man. And so on October the 8th of 2010, man, I was sleeping in a dumpster in Pleasant Grove and sleeping behind it, man. And I had a little couch and, I had needle marks down my neck. My lips were burnt. It's like 2 a.m. It's kind of a cool day, kind of like today. And I just looked up into the sky and I said, God, if you're real, I don't even know if I'm doing this right. I don't know. But I need you to help me. I would rather go back to prison than live like this. I felt more free in prison. And something happened. It's hard for me to explain.
I love what you said, because like we've all done it. That foxhole prayer, I like to call it, dude. That Hail Mary or whatever you want to title that prayer.
Yeah, it's like I call it an internal surrender.
Yeah, I like that.
And
I'm gonna steal that now.
A broken. It's like when you've reached all your thinking has been stripped from you, and there is no solution but to go inward, right? There's nothing that's going to fix this. And so I just kind of internally surrendered, and I can hear it when I'm in meetings. I can hear people that have had that experience. It makes it captivates me. And I can almost tell the journey that they're going to experience, right? But so that happened. The next morning I heard some guys talking, right?
Okay.
And I come from around this dumpster, and there were these guys dressed in these Army uniforms, right? And they were picking up trash, and I was like, "What?"
Did you tell them to get off your lawn?
No, I thought they were. I thought they were police officers.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Or like up north they have that guardian angels. Have you know?
Yeah,
so I thought it was like, what is this?
Yeah, right.
National Guard or
Yeah, and I was like, what are y'all doing? And they were like, hey man, they were kind of startled too. They were like, yo, we're just some men that are trusting that God will deliver us from addiction, and we're out here doing some service work. And I just like kind of smiled, and a tear went down my face, and I said, well, that's me.
And by the way, I called you guys yesterday on the couch. Yeah,
I got in the van that day, man, and my life has never been the same since. And I always share that because I didn't come to Nehemiah.
They came to you.
Yeah, that's killer.
And that's why my passion is outreach. I'm the outreach coordinator because I go out on the streets. I go under bridges.
Oh, yeah.
I try to reach the people that don't have phones, that don't have internet services, that have sold everything they have, that are feeling like that there's no hope. Those are the people that I'm drawn to because that was me, right?
You're trying to find that guy on the couch behind the dumpster. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, it's been an amazing journey, guys. I love to be raw. Nehemiah gave me some tools, but most importantly, it introduced me to the 12-step process, right? And I thought going to I've got there, Nehemiah, this is Jesus stuff. I've tried this before. My mom took me to church.
Yeah.
I smoked in the parking lot, basically, I don't know if this Jesus thing is going to work for me, but I was so broken.
That's right.
And I'm willing to try anything.
Yeah.
Anything that's not my decision, right?
Right.
And so we get there, about a week into it, they're like, get in the van. I'm like, what are we doing? They're like, we're going to a meeting. And I was like, well, that's odd. I thought this was Jesus. And so the guy that runs the place, he's a recovering addict out of New Orleans, man. And
what's his name?
His name is Louis Sorrell.
Colonel Lewis.
Colonel Lewis. Shout out to Colonel Lewis, man. He's a
That sounds like an 80s rapper, man.
Yeah. He's a very anointed man that has there's like a father figure to both of us. I was at Nehemiah when it was just one apartment and 5 guys, and it's turned into a a major. We provide services for over 70 men. Right now we have about 40 men in our program, and this happens 3 times twice a year.
Right.
Rotation.
Well, do you want to throw? Hey, Brett, do you want to throw to that video real quick so the
Yeah, y'all get a chance to look at it. Check it out.
Get a little. It's like 3 minutes or something. You said like that. So
Day in the life.
Yeah, this kind of tells you what a little bit more in depth about what's going on at the Men of Nehemiah. Got it, Brett?
The Men of Nehemiah, it is a structured faith-based ministry where men can come and allow the power of God to change their lives. This is a place where guys that are on their last leg, sometimes multiple bouts in jail, homeless, just years of substance abuse. And Nehemiah is a place where you can come and get loved. We know you because we've been down that road. We know that our place in life is to serve people that are going through what we've been through. Peer influence, in most cases, is how men get into addiction. We can use that same negative thing that got people into addiction. We can use the influence to get men out. Man, we get to say what's cool. And if we can stand up as men and say, hey, man, serving God, getting clean, man, doing something, being with your kids, leading your family, we get to say what's cool. We get to see the fruit in their lives. We get to see the zest. We get to see them serving. We set ourselves up with Bread of Hope. The Bread of Hope is the Men of Nehemiah's outreach arm. It's a homeless worship service, hot breakfast, and someone will come here for Bread of Hope breakfast or for the ministry, and he hadn't seen his friend in 3-4 months, and he sees his friend up there with a group of 40 guys singing and praising, and he's like, and that encourages him to come in. If you have 50 or 100 guys and they're just on the same note and they're praising God, singing, man, there's such a power. So when you see that progression, you know that God is blessing. Seeing a guy beat up, just on his last leg, and then a number of months pass, and you get to see meat come back on his bones. You get to see him start to believe in himself again, start to believe in God. I love that. I love that. God wants to get the glory. He wants to get his shine on. I believe that.
I love that, man. That was great production value, by the way. I need to step up my game, dude.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was like, I know that bridge.
Right.
I saw that. But man, that's so kick-ass that y'all do that, and it's actually like just outreach, and you actually, come, to the front line, so to speak. Yeah, man.
Right.
Well, I mean, so do you want to talk about so you were touching on what they've grown to, so where they started. Okay, when did they start? When did the Men of Nehemiah start?
2010.
Here in Dallas.
Here in Dallas.
So it originally started in New Orleans.
Okay.
So our founder, Lewis, his dad actually started the Men of Nehemiah in New Orleans for him.
Okay, so now is it all spread out all over the U.S. or is it just localized, regional, or
No,
what?
so when, and I don't know the exact story, but I believe when Lewis moved to from after Hurricane Katrina, Lewis and his family moved to Texas.
Okay.
And that's when he started. There's a whole story behind it. But
Yeah,
he
so
ended up starting.
basically this is how it is. So Lewis' father was a colonel in the military and a pastor. And Lewis was the mess up.
Right.
You got that much structure in a home. You're being raised in a home with
He was a pastor's kid.
a Pentecostal pastor who is also a military colonel.
Yeah.
You can imagine the rules that were in that house.
Rebellion.
And so he jumped into rebelliousness in college, and he started, same story, drinking, and then it turned into drugs, which turned into hardcore drugs, which turned into jail, prison, homelessness. And his father started the Men of Nehemiah in hopes that his son could get it together. And so
That's cool.
Lewis was in the program in New Orleans, and here comes running the program, and here comes this crazy storm, right? And it devastates the city. So him and his wife of long term, they moved to Weatherford, Texas. He likes to say that.
Yeah.
He said, I was a brother in Weatherford, Texas. There was
The
about
only
three of us in a 500-mile radius.
It was like where you could play Count the Black People.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so he tells that story, man, and his wife of 20, 25 years, who was his rock, who was there when he would relapse and go to prison. She was a solid person. They moved here, started building a life. He got himself clean, and then all of a sudden, within a flash of an eye, man, she had an aneurysm and she died.
Oh, wow.
And his whole world was devastated, and he knew. He's told me, he said, Ty, I knew that I wasn't normal, and I knew that I was gonna, if I didn't do this, that I was gonna die. I couldn't work a regular 9 to 5, and so he sold his truck and met a few men that do ministry, and they rented him had a little room in this building, and they gave him a couple apartments and said, if you want to start ministry, do it. And so that's when I came along. I came along in that era. He would be speaking these grandiose things. Lewis would be like, Ty, one day we're going to sing in front of thousands of people, and and God's going to bring people from all over. And I was like, dude, we're about to sing in a grocery store. Like, you know what I mean? But he just believed.
Well,
He
yeah.
And he was
believed.
right. We have something.
And we
for him.
have now, man. The ministry has grown to, a level that I never would have dreamed.
Well, so yeah, how many people, like, okay, how often do y'all meet? Like, give me some details, and then how many, how large is the congregation?
Right.
How big is the graduate or the alumni class? All that good stuff.
So currently, I mean, we've had up to 50, 55 guys in the program at one time, right?
Okay.
And we're going, and within a few months, we'll be back at that number. Obviously, COVID has caused some of our numbers to go down, but we have grown from one guy, one staff member, or one guy, because he really wasn't. I don't even want to call Lewis a staff.
one guy's vision.
One guy to
An idea.
to like
One
what,
apartment.
one apartment
to a whole apartment
complex with 15 staff members,
we're
licensed counselors, LPC,
Yeah, that's what I was
LCDCs.
going to get into, because it's not just guys in fatigues
No.
yelling Jesus
No.
stuff at
So-
you. So there's a whole part to there's a back end and built out for
So
the
our
organization.
program is built on 3 different departments. We've
Okay.
got biblical, clinical, and military.
Okay.
And so biblical, obviously spiritual leadership, discipleship. Clinical, we have a full counseling staff, professional counselors, so they get they get to address some of those issues as to why they do the things they do.
Absolutely.
And then we have the military component, which is to
Hoorah.
instill discipline and leadership, so you can go back to your family and be a leader.
I
as
know
addicts, we
I know a ton of people that could use that aspect.
Well, let me tell you
in their
something.
recovery. For
Check
sure.
this out. Most people, when you hear, it's funny to hear guys share this all the time. Like when they hear military discipline, the people exactly.
Put
that's
the brakes on it,
Oh,
yeah.
Whoa! I just want to stop smoking dope, man. I don't mean to be marching through South Dallas.
I don't need to be doing
but
boot camp.
It actually is one of the, like you said, it's a great tool. It's a great tool. It teaches you how to focus, not I to my feelings, follow instruction, right?
Sure. Yeah.
Be guided by somebody.
I like that part. The follow instructions.
Yeah, we're used to doing what we want to do.
Yeah.
Right,
Whenever
right.
we want to do it on impulse. And
Right.
So 9 months of Sarge telling
Yes,
you what to do.
yes. It was definitely it's a process. And like I said, let me just give a shout out to all the places that I've been to in Dallas. They were great places. I had
24-hour Turtle
Great,
Creek.
great.
I love them.
great places.
Yeah.
I think that all places are good places. I just don't know if I was in the right place. Right?
Yeah.
And so I Men of Nehemiah is the place that maybe I was at the right place, and so that's the place that worked for me, right?
Absolutely.
And so I'm not saying these other places don't work, because I have great friends that are alumni from the 24-hour club and from Turtle Creek and Homeward Bound. These are great places, and I think that what the work they do is amazing. And I believe that any place that says, hey, if you're suffering from addiction and we got the services for you to get better, then I believe those are great places to
Right.
have.
Yeah.
It just, for me, I had to be so broken. Right?
Yeah.
I had because I thought I was halfway like smart or something. And so, you know, one of the statements that I like to quote is they say that addiction has been around since the beginning of mankind. Right?
Sure.
So if that's true, what makes me think my 1977 slick self is going to outsmart a disease that has been around for thousands and thousands
Yeah,
of years,
it's
you know?
it's in our nature. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. No, I get it, man.
Yeah.
Did you have any questions or
Well,
anything?
I mean, I just am. I think it's like an awesome thing, right? But like, so when you guys, because you said previously you're a big 12-step guy. So like when they come into this program, obviously everyone's not going to be in the same. So there's like a progression of like you guys have like Bible study and and all of those things that they go.
So there's
Is there like a hierarchy, and then like is there like a military ranking?
Yeah.
So we're
Yeah.
so we're captains.
Okay.
Captain.
So yeah, you come in, you're a you're a
Cadet.
private, you work your way up.
Okay.
And you know, the higher rank you get, the more responsibility you have in the community. But there's 3 phases to the program. So the program is a 9-month program. Each phase is about 3 months. The first 3 months is kind of like a blackout period. You're not really moving around. You're just kind of in class. And throughout the day, I mean, the day starts at 5 a.m. They're up. You know, they're up. They're reading their devotionals. They're coming together as a household. They're doing their chores, and then they do PT. You know, physical training, marching, you know, and then their day gets started. They have
I love that.
breakfast
So you're like kind of basically giving them some structure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I like to say it like this. So we have phase 1, phase 2, and phase 3. So phase 1 is stabilization.
Yeah.
Phase 2 is information.
Yeah.
And then phase 3 is application.
Yeah.
So phase 1, you're just basically getting your footing. Phase 2, you're starting to get a sponsor. You're
Starting to
working
get tools.
steps. You're making meetings. You're working with a mentor. You have different support networks that are coming down to pour into you biblical 12-step recovery processes. And then phase 3, the guys are starting to go get a job.
They can start
And so
working,
now they're
get a
going.
phone.
It's when this guy steps in and works with them and helps them that transition piece. We also have a sober living house that's connected to us, so they can stay an additional 3 months after they graduate to save money. And we strongly recommend that our guys. It's not, you don't go through the program and just say, okay, guys, that was good.
I
Peace,
graduated,
holla
I'm
at-"
We
We want to
Yeah.
get them connected to a community of people in recovery.
fellowship.
And that's a lot of what I say. We're like the show is all about multiple pathways. So whatever works for you. But then also, I mean, I always talk about community.
Yeah.
I mean, if you don't have any kind of
huge.
community,
It's huge.
and that's what I love about addicts is we're all like, oh, I get it, dude. You know.
Yeah.
So I mean, and building that community, it lets you know you're not alone, and then that you can actually lean on somebody else.
Right.
Absolutely.
And that's what I love.
That's key, man. And
Yeah.
so, Nehemiah is really good with that. We're a family ministry. Family ministry. We believe in restoring men,
Back to their families.
putting them back in their proper place at their homes. Because I believe that when there's men in the community changes. Right. I'm talking about men that are focused on positive things.
Sure.
Yeah.
And unfortunately for me, I didn't have a father, so the streets were I was influenced by the older homies, like, hey, we're going to do this. I was kind of like the blind leading the blind, misinformed information. And so I found myself doing what other people were doing that wasn't going nowhere.
Yeah.
And so now being a restored man of God, right, I like he said in the video, I can determine what I feel is cool in the community, and I still rock my swag. We have fun, we have a good thing.
That's what I was going to say, man. I've seen some videos. Hey, but real quick, I want to hit our sponsor. That is summersky.us. That is www.summersky.us. And that is 888-857-8857. They are a lovely place out in Stephenville, Texas. Reach out. It's Patsy and Haikisha actually will be answering the phones out there. Great ladies. And that's where I got sober. Worked for me so far. So good. So
Right.
boom.
So far, so
But so I was doing some research because as a responsible host, I have to do a little research.
All right.
I looked, or I think I may have stalked you on your Facebook page, but I see it's like this gospel choir,
Yeah.
and you two gentlemen are rapping on it.
Yeah, that's right.
So like I had when I got to Nehemiah, it was a bunch of old guys.
They didn't
Right.
like, they
and
didn't
they were
like
like
that.
They were listening.
all,
They were
they're like,
listening.
nah.
yeah,
No,
they were all
listening
like
to-
doing like old church hymns.
I was gonna say
Oh Lord, the praise in God.
a
And I was-
little swing low.
I hated that. And I was like, yo, man, if I got to listen to 9 months of this, I'm going to be dead, man.
Right.
And so I told our founder, I was like, hey, Lewis, listen, man, I'm a hip hop artist. I got a little something. I want to do something to like maybe make it more lively, And he looked at me and he's like, do whatever you think, man. And so it was a trick for me because I thought the Bible was boring.
Yeah.
Sure.
Thought it was boring. Every time I open it up, I get tired, and sometimes I still wrestle with that. But at the end of the day, like I started reading, studying, and building a relationship with God on my own, and in that process, my intention was that I would have more content to rap better, right? And so it was a trick. So I started reading to be a better rapper. And then all of a sudden, I started to fall in love with God's word, and it started to become real to me, right? And it was first time that it wasn't just something. I finally started having a personal relationship with God and not a passed down one, because I was raised where my
I like
grandma-
how you put that because a lot of religion
Right, it's
is
passed
passed down. I
Right.
mean,
Sure.
okay, well, I was born Baptist, so I'm
then-
Baptist.
Yeah, and that's basically, my mom told me if you get baptized, we'll get you some toys at Toys R Us, and so that that was enough
I'm in.
motivation for me.
Yeah, I was going to Sunday school on Sundays so that we could go to CC's afterwards.
There you
That's
go.
it. You know what
And
I'm
so
saying?
I didn't have it was passed down, and
Sure.
in this process, God started to really speak to me,
Uh-huh.
and it made it real. And then, like I said, Lewis is very colorful when he teaches. He teaches in a way that hardcore addicts can really relate
understand
to,
it.
and he's really gifted at that. And he taught me, and so started doing this rap music thing.
Well, real quick, before y'all get to the good stuff, I want to tell, because you were just talking about him talking, and I was like, I want to go see him. So where can we go, by the way?
To see Lewis?
Yeah, or
So-
to see you guys in action,
Okay,
or
so
to
we
get
have,
involved,
yeah,
or
yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
We have a worship service,
Uh-huh.
and it's live. It's off the chain. It's
Uh-huh.
every Sunday morning
Okay.
at 8 a.m. And so if you come to our main building, it's 2010 Al Lipscomb Way,
Okay.
Dallas, Texas.
All right.
Right next door to it, there's a little church, and that's where we
That's
have
where
our
it goes.
service.
That's
yeah.
where it goes
and
down.
the awesome thing about this service is called Bread of Hope.
Okay.
And so we're definitely non-traditional. It's not a here comes the pastor, he's going to preach.
Right.
It's not that. It's a homeless worship service, right?
okay.
So we have, and the interesting thing is you'll have anyone from Highland Park, to the lady with a basket under the bridge, right?
Yeah. Sure.
On the same row, everybody serving and worshiping the same God, right?
Yeah.
And it's really cool to see people build relationships that you normally wouldn't build relationships with.
Right.
So it's not churchy.
Oh, yeah.
We hang out. We feed the homeless afterwards. Everybody's hanging out. Everybody's talking about where they're broken.
And what time is that again?
It's
8 a.m.
8 a.m.
8
okay.
to 9.
Bright and early.
So
I'm gonna have to do that. I'm gonna have to come out.
Oh, you got it. If you
Yeah.
come, it's an experience that is very, very interesting. It will
Yeah.
definitely change.
Your perception.
Yeah, you're like, whoa. Okay.
Yeah. Hey, let me go ahead and give out that, just in case y'all didn't get that information, you can also go to the Men of Nehemiah.org, and Nehemiah is NEHEMIAH.org. I got that right?
That's it. Facebook. Go to Facebook as
I'm
well.
looking at your shirt. Yeah. If you go to Men of Nehemiah, also let me give out that number, 214-421-6705. All of that stuff, social media, y'all are on Instagram,
Yeah, all of it.
Facebook, all that.
All
So
those.
if they want to reach out to you or donate their time,
Sure.
anything good
Yeah.
like
Yes,
that,
yes.
or if they're just interested in checking out the program,
Yeah.
they can do that. That's
right.
So now I think I've built it up enough.
Uh-oh.
But I hear you guys have skills, and
Little
I
bit.
have seen a little bit. And this is happening at 8 a.m. on a Sunday morning, right?
That's right.
the what I mean. Oh, Ty's got to get ready.
all out.
Got to get that. Got to
I'm
get
all
that.
out. I jumped the
Got to
gun.
get that throat silky.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. You know what? I always wanted, growing up, man, I thought that, like, you hear the term Christian hip hop, right?
Yeah.
It just sounds
Kinda
corny,
lame.
cheesy, like less than. Quality is like here. It's not really cool.
Right.
They don't have very many skills.
Yeah.
The beats are whack.
Yeah.
And so I never wanted to be. I wanted to make music just as innovative, just as cool as anything else out there, right?
Yeah.
But just have a positive message. And one thing I've learned doing it in churches and stuff, especially in some of your Park Cities Baptists and Highland Park and your First United Methodists and
Right.
some of these churches that we've been to that God has blessed us with, right? I'm not messing. I'm just being real, right? When you go in there and you say, "Hey, I'm about to do some rap too," they kind of look at you like, "Whoa,
Whoa, hold on.
And to be able to challenge different people's viewpoints and be like, "Hey,
Sure.
I'm not. It's about the content of what I'm saying, and so listen to what I'm saying." And then I've had people come up to me and say, "Ty, you know what? I never would have thought I would have liked that.
Yeah.
But what you said was right on point, and I can see it being a ministry to reach younger people."
Sure.
Right? And so this cat, when he came into Nehemiah, I was already doing the music thing, and I seen him. He was always kind of looking at me, and then one day he said something like, "Yo, man, I'll rap too," and I was like, "Yeah, whatever,
Yeah, whatever. One guy.
But he ended up
Okay, Vanilla.
he
Ice.
ended up spitting, man, and
Yeah.
I was like, whoa, well, hold on, because there's some in the rap game you can kind of tell levels and stuff like that, but I was really impressed. I was like, whoa, this guy's actually really good, and I've been praying for that, man. I was like, I need somebody to do this with me. I don't want to be like this only guy up here all the time, and so God sent me a few guys, and he's one of them that we just be creative with our gifts, and at the same time, the most importantly thing, we try to honor God, and we try to be honest and transparent with our
So
story.
NWA, Nehemiah with attitude.
That's it. Ran, go ahead and spit something real quick.
I could tell you about mercy and grace. I'm a witness to the power of faith. I was living in a miserable place. Every day another fit to the face. Mama cried when they locked me away. Did time, then I came back out, no change. Back to the same old ways. Should have been dead, but God had a plan for the pain. Bought with the blood, lay my life down and offer it up. Even if I gotta get right in the mud, where they fight for the drugs with a mic in my hand, yelling Christ is enough.
What?
Only he can fill that void.
What?
He the only one who can heal that boy.
Yeah.
I don't got much, but I'm way too blessed to let y'all steal my joy. Yeah, I don't gotta run from the insults. I wanna fight back, that's impulse. I wanna throw hands when they stab my back, but I can't cause I'm purpose to win souls. Got a new team that I live for, so I press to the mark for the end goal. Yeah, count it all joy when they come against us. Break through and high step to the end zone.
What? What?
You go.
Yeah. All right.
You, Ty.
All right. It was pain that motivated me,
Hey.
mixed with some fear and codependency. Had to start changing all of my beliefs, exposing the real transparency. Apparently, things in my life are so twisted, demented. I had to go back and revisit, had to go back and relive it so I could experience his freedom. I'm truly forgiven. I made a decision. Woo! The old me is gone. The new me's alive. I'm never surprised when people start leaving because darkness and light cannot coincide. I swallow my pride. Yeah. And I started asking for help. Man, I was defeated. I was depleted because I was so stuck in myself. Yeah. And it was bad for my health. So I just surrendered to God, and he did the rest. I know that I'm blessed because now I'm defying the odds. And people be thinking I'm not going to make it. It's actually Satan just trying to distract me. I walk in the spirit. I'm not trying to hear it. Connected to God, you can never detach me. I'm doing something different. I don't need permission, just my intuition. Yes, I am a Christian, but I'm not religion. I will not conform to any wicked system because that's really prison. Not in bondage. I am paying homage to the one and only true and living God. This is not a drill. This is really real. Ain't no perpetrating on no fake facade. Why you acting hard, but you really lying. On the inside, yeah, you really crying. On my inside, all you see is lines. I'll be repping Christ till the day I'm dying. While you steady trying, I am redefining. There are different levels to the spirit realm. Get your breakthrough. He can't break you. Opposition, I ain't never fearing him. Choice.
Hell yeah.
So we just have
Wow.
fun, man.
No,
You
and
know.
see, that personifies a message I always say is that, you can't have fun in recovery.
Come on,
I'm
man.
like,
Come on, man.
I used to think that.
yeah, right.
Yeah, everybody. Most people do think that.
What am I
They
gonna
think,
do
like,
if I'm not getting high?
Yeah, exactly.
Or
How can you
like-
enjoy anything?
Or if I give my life to God, I'm just gonna be
lame.
boring.
Yeah. God's
know?
not boring.
Yeah.
Yeah. At
And
least
so,
mine.
my God is not boring. Man,
Yeah.
my God is real, personal, loving,
Creative.
caring, just super dope. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
And so that's the key with what we try to instill with our guys. Like, take all the information that you had, and just put it over there for a minute.
Yeah.
And let's just start scratch ground zero. Let's try to build something new, and let's try to see that we. And then the awesome thing is you don't have to do this alone. Like
Sure.
we can do this together. I've walked with this cat. My clean date is 6/11 in 2012.
All right.
So I've been
Okay.
clean a while, man. I've been
Yeah.
clean a while. I'm grateful. You know,
Yeah.
coming up on 10 years, I'm super grateful, man. But
Right.
at the end of the day, my new addiction is watching guys like this. shine,
Yeah,
man.
no, I
You
mean,
know,
it's that service work.
it's
man.
all about the new man. It's
Yeah.
all about who else can be reached, right?
Yeah.
And I always say if a $2.50 crackhead like me can get it, man, you're gonna shine, dude. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like we just pour into men. We believe in that if God redeemed and restores you and gives you another chance at life, shouldn't you help someone else?
Right.
Oh yeah,
You know, and,
Yeah.
and so that's the Men of Nehemiah. It's about one man helping another.
We're all broken people. We're all messed up. We mess up every day, man. But
Yeah.
He messes up more than me,
he
but
messes up way more than I do. But you know, it's a place where we can come and we can be transparent with one another with
Right.
what we're going through, and that's huge.
No,
That's
I
huge
love
for
I
us.
love that, and I want to give out that website again. So that is menofnehemiah.org.
Yeah.
And that is Nehemiah, Nehemiah. Hey, speaking of that, so why the book of Nehemiah? Obviously.
You answered this the other day, and it was beautiful.
Churchy.
All right, let's
all right.
hear
So
it.
so Nehemiah is an Old Testament prophet in the Bible, right?
Right.
And his vision for his community was he wanted so passionately for it to be restored. So what happens in the book of Nehemiah? The walls of Jerusalem had been destroyed, which was leaving them susceptible for all types of different attacks.
Yeah.
Right. And so Nehemiah was a cupbearer for the king, which is a crazy job to have back then. You had to taste to make sure it wasn't poison.
Yeah, right.
And so cupbearers kind of rotated. But Nehemiah was a man of prayer, and he was faithful. And so he went to the king and said, "Look, man, I'm from Jerusalem. I want my people to be safe, and I've been in prayer, and I want to know if you would grant me permission to help restore the walls." And the king gave him permission. He went and he restored the walls. Now, as he was rebuilding the walls, he faced a lot of opposition. There was naysayers. You think you're going to do that in a few days, dude? You little Jews. What are y'all doing? But you know, but basically what he said, you feeble Jews, right? So but he was able to restore the walls within a short period of time. Obviously, God had given him a favor. And so what we believe at the Men of Nehemiah is that we are rebuilding the spiritual walls in our lives, right?
Yeah.
So we took that because I don't know if you know.
I love that concept.
Yeah, our
man,
walls
that's
have
great,
been broken, man. You know, if you've been through trauma, you've been through addiction, man, spiritually, sometimes you can just feel like you're empty. And so, and it leaves you to all different types of attack, whether it be addiction, whether it be crazy relationships, whether it be places that you go. And so learning how to rebuilding those spiritual walls, it's just as important as not using drugs, right? Because
Yeah.
now I need something more to stand on. And that's what Nehemiah does for us. It's what it did for me. That's what I know it did for this guy.
Right.
It makes us become more interdependent, right? It's, you know, and rebuilding the walls is the beginning process of becoming the man of God. I like to say this. Nehemiah rebuilt the walls in like 60 something days, which was unheard of, right?
Yeah.
And if in the Bible it talks about that they would work with a shovel in one hand and a sword in the other, right? But I like to say this: God doesn't use new bricks. He uses broken, dirty bricks, and he dusts them off, cleans them up, and puts them right back in their proper place in the wall.
Yeah.
And that's what we are, man. We were broken bricks, man, that people thought were trash.
Right.
And God
Hell,
said, that's a valuable stone of mine. And I want to put that back in the wall, and I want to show you how good I can use broken bricks.
I love
and
it.
so Nehemiah rebuilds the walls. We help men become men of God.
I like it. I like it. I like it. So, Dylan, do you have any questions?
No, I'm enamored by the
I know. I'm
concept.
just like I'm blown away,
Yeah,
dude.
I dig what you guys got going on, the community, what you guys have done to put a different perspective on
Right.
it.
Is there
that's
ever
an
going
amazing
to
thing
be
me.
the women of Nehemiah? Or is there an aspect to the men of Nehemiah that is the men
answer
of
wisely.
Nehemiah? Be careful.
You know
So
what?
we have had you know, it's not going to be the women of Nehemiah, but we have had affiliated in the past where people have branched off and started their own ministry.
Yeah,
Okay.
and check
women.
this out, man. You know, like I said, man, we're a family ministry.
Right.
So wives,
I gotcha.
mothers, sisters are all welcome to join in with the process in which we're transforming their sons, their husbands, and so forth, right? And so in that process, we do have opportunities for the mothers to come down and speak with counselors.
Okay.
They have family
It's a whole
day.
family thing.
Yeah.
So it's not just one person getting better.
Dudes
Well,
being,
yeah.
dudes being militant.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
I
We
got
try
it.
to get the whole family
Yeah.
involved.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
I think that's a huge key to somebody succeeding in recovery.
Come on now.
Is have their family involved and
Well,
and
and-
everybody's on the same page, because if people. I'm a huge fan of Al-Anon as well.
Yeah, yes,
but
yes,
if
yes.
people just, go, oh, okay, well, that's Dylan's problem, I mean,
Well, shit. If
Yeah.
if you're an addict like I am, your family suffered just as much.
What?
You
Come
know
on.
what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I mean, and I'm a believer that yes, I say that foxhole prayer, right? I did. I was behind the dumpster. I was broken, and I said, God help me. It wasn't very lengthy. It was just a very desperation prayer.
Yeah.
But I also know that my grandmother, man, my
was
mom,
praying for
they were
you.
praying for me
yeah.
years
Yeah.
before I even
Sure.
got to that
Oh,
place.
yeah.
And so if it had not been for them and their prayers and their cries to God, I don't know if I would still be here, man.
Sure.
So
I think one of the best gifts that I've gotten in recovery is when I talk to my grandmother on the phone. She says I can sleep at night again. I don't have to
on,
worry
man.
about you. Shit like
yeah,
that.
yeah,
Like,
that's priceless, bro.
that's like real shit. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's so many nights where she slept with her keys and her wallet and all that shit under her pillow so that
Right.
I didn't take her car and
Right.
all that shit.
all right.
I definitely relate to that.
Well,
Yeah.
guys, dude, I really appreciate. I mean, I can't believe the hour's already gone, dude.
Yeah.
I can't believe the hour's already gone, dude. But so anyway, once again, reach out to menofnehemiah.org. I want one of those shirts. I'm going to trade y'all to This Pink Cloud shirts, and if you can
man.
hook me up,
I got you.
We got you.
all
We
right,
got you,
dude. I
guys.
love it because I love that. I don't know. For some reason, I love the whole yellow and white thing. I don't know.
Maybe we can make you an honorary sergeant too.
Oh, I like that.
You got to talk to Sarge first.
Yeah, right. Well, dude, I love what y'all do, and I love that it's a fun thing, and I love that
is.
it's a positive thing, and
It
I love
is.
that it's a recovery thing.
It is.
So I want to thank you guys for coming out, and
Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
I always allow the guests to do shout outs towards the end of the show. So you got anybody to
Well,
shout
listen,
out
he
to?
shout
Lover?
out. If I don't say this now,
she's
I'm in
gonna cut
trouble.
you.
So
Okay.
my fiance, her name is Natalie, and I
Natalie.
love her very, very much. Well, shout out to Natalie.
Yeah, you were talking about her before the shows. Yeah, how
Yeah, I better,
how
for
like
special she
30
was.
minutes, right.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, no, I always got a shout out like that. Shout out to all the people in my home group, all my friends in recovery, man. I thank God for you guys. If it had not been for you, I don't know where I'd be today. I thank God for the Men of Nehemiah.
That's right.
Thank God for you guys, man. Keep putting the message of hope.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's
on the waves, man, because people need to hear this. A lot of times I know family members who call in desperation because they're trying to search for information.
Yeah.
And so, we at the Men of Nehemiah are always open to those type of calls. I get them every day. I know what it sounds like to have a desperate mom on the phone.
Yeah.
And, and so we're grateful for this opportunity. I know I'm grateful for it because this could reach people maybe that is not in our inner circle and whatnot.
Right.
And so, man, I thank you guys for having me. What's up, Rand?
Shout out Colonel Lewis, obviously.
Colonel Lewis.
Man, love you. Shout out to my pastor Daniel.
Pastor Daniel.
My fiance one more time, Megan. Mom, Dad, love y'all. Thank you.
Already.
All right. Well, thanks guys for coming out. Hey, next week we've got Dirty Dan Nybrand coming up.
God, man.
He's a good dude. He has a group called Knucklehead Recovery.
Come on.
Yeah. And he's kind of like what I call recovery famous. It's like,
nice.
when you go to a meeting, like, hey, there's Dan. There's Dan.
Trying to
there's
get there.
Dan. Yeah, but he's there. And then also we got coming up, just booked the current Miss Texas. So I'm like, we're all over the place. We're getting big
getting
time,
there.
dude. Quincy Carter last week.
That's awesome,
Men of
man.
Nehemiah
That's
now,
awesome.
man.
That's great.
I love it. I love it. It's just happening, dude.
Get it out there.
Yeah. Hey, well, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Be sure and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Trying to get up to 1,000. We're almost there.
Yeah.
But if you just go to thispinkcloud.com, we'll take you to our YouTube channel. Please subscribe. I'm going to put down clips and all that good stuff. But Brett, if you would be so kind as to play us out. And like I always say, everybody, there is no magic pill for sobriety, because if there was, we would all take too many.
That's good. I know I would.
Thanks for coming on.
Don't go. Don't go. Don't go. Don't go. Drop it.